Welcome everyone to another episode of Your Lab Central. Today I have with me Tommy Kilpatrick. So Tommy, would you like to tell our audience why they should be excited about this conversation?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm a retired teacher and an author, and I had written a book on health and healing. And about 2004, I was given an infomercial contract, and I was test marketed on radio for about 6 months. And I had to use my three credit cards to live on.
Hmm.
And one of the talents, he got in trouble with the FTC. He had made some claims in his book that wasn't true. And so they came down hard on the company and him, and that my contract was canceled. Um, so that left me with $85,000 of credit card debt, which was quite a depressing situation. So what I did is about one morning, I woke up thinking about my dad. He was a CPA, a certified public accountant, and I was in school to be a CPA. I never got the credential, but I can do the work. And I realized the bank never had an invoice, so they didn't have a debt. And then I remember reading the manual Modern Money Mechanics, which was required reading, and explains how the banks issue loans is they accept a promissory note. So they write numbers, any number they want in your free checking account. And so I realized I didn't sign a promissory note, so there was no loan. And my father-in-law at the time was a judge and an attorney, and we had long conversations about fraud undoes all contracts. So I do not have a contractual agreement with the bank. So with his blessing and direction, I personally myself filed three federal lawsuits against the banks. And did I win? Well, the judge threw my case out. But when I looked at my credit report a month later, they were gone. They were off my credit report. So I never had been sued, and I never had to pay taxes. And since that's what they do, is they issue a 1099, and I would have to pay, about $30,000 and 20, $30,000 in taxes, but it never happened. So the banks ran away. So I have a story to share with you all.
So, all right, now I didn't quite catch a lot of it. I mean, I could not understand a lot of it, but just to get the idea, right? What was the lowest point? Was it getting into the case? Filing the lawsuit, or was it the 85,000 debt that you had to get over? What was
Well,
the lowest
the
point?
worst thing was anticipating. They told me I was going to be making about $100,000 a month, so
Mhm.
85,000 was no big deal. I still have 15,000 the first month, so I didn't have any concern about that. So that was my expectations took a
Mhm.
lot of toll, and then to have the debt and to look at possible being sued and losing everything, I had no way to pay them back, and then. Then the next thing was when the judge dismissed my case, he called me into court, which was very unusual. And he said, Mr. Kilpatrick, do you have a credit card? And I said, well, let me start from the beginning. Oh, we'll start at the beginning. And I said, well, no, it started off as a gift card. A gift card, open your wallet up, pull the card out. What's it say on there? I said, credit card. He says, you're an idiot. Get out of here. So then I thought for sure I was going to be sued. But then a month later, it was realization that it worked. And so it's not a debt. And I uncovered a worldwide conspiracy by the banks to defraud the world about these credit cards, which are not really true credit cards. So,
So where are you on this journey of defrauding people and telling them about this, what the banks are doing?
it. First of all, it was unbelievable in one sense. So, a friend of mine had a charity that was really kind of dormant. She wasn't doing anything with it. And
Mm.
so she gave it to me, and I revamped it to be credit repair. And so I found a lot of people that had credit repair issues also had some debt. So I would write a letter to the bank and it would be off their credit report. So it was an amazing thing to do for people. And helped about 1,000 people in about the 10-year period I had the charity. And
Mhm.
so that was a great thing.
And what are you doing these days? Writing a book,
Yeah,
or just
I
spreading a message around?
yes, I'm still writing books, and I'm here in the Philippines. And
Mhm.
what I do is I teach farmers how to build dome houses with bamboo, so it's free housing. I was a church how to do vertical gardening, and
Ah,
so you don't have to keep bending over. And I'm also going to be planning to open up free self-managed medical care clinics for the people here. So I wrote a book to help finance and fund my projects. So that's what I'm doing.
So, how is it working out? You're doing a lot of charity, you're doing a lot of good stuff for the farmers and teaching them a lot of things. But how is it working out? Books, are they keeping you up? What's keeping you going?
Well, it's the passion and following the path of what God has set out for me. So I'm a very spiritual person. So that's what I do. What God wants me to do, I do it. So I wake up every morning full of energy, full of excitement. I can't wait for the taking on the day to doing more. So yes.
So, what's your motivating factor? Like, I mean, there's your drive, right? But is there something you chant? Is there a mantra that you have that you go through every day so that you can keep it up, right? Something of the sort.
Yeah, I think of a Visa card, and not the kind of Visa card you're thinking of, but the V stands for, and it's actually Buddhist in an origin. It's right now whole view. So I take in my view. So whenever I feel overwhelmed or I don't feel the motivation, all I do is take a few minutes, maybe longer, just to take it all in, just to see and hear it and taste it and smell it and touch it, and just take those minutes just to be back in connected to God's mother nature. And then
Mhm.
the next one, I, stands for intent. So, what is your intent? So, my intent here to be with you is to explain what my book is all about and how I can promote it and get more interest in what I'm doing. And then the S stands for speech, right now, whole speech. And the A is action. So, I wrote the book, I had the action, I'm saying what I did, and here I am on your show talking about it. So, that's my Visa card that I can share for everybody here on your audience of how to get up in the morning and be motivated and keep doing what you're doing.
So, since we're here to talk about your book, what is it about? What message are you spreading around with this book?
Well, yes, it's well, I tried to explain it that law is language and language is law. So if you say you have credit card debt, you've got it. There's nothing you can do about it. And
Hmm.
what I'm saying, you don't have to believe me. I'm a doubting Thomas. So first of all, yeah, I can invite you to be doubting too. So I'll send you in the show notes some links, and so you can look up these three links and I'll explain what I'm talking about. And don't believe me, take this send this podcast to your CPA or anyone who's had one class of accounting, and they'll tell you I'm actually 100% right. So anybody that I help through my consultation, I always have them be have a third party verify what I'm saying is actually correct. So it's not me saying it; it's your trusted person that's used that they know about accounting or business and stuff. So that's the first step is that if you say you've got the debt, you've got it. Now, there are true credit cards. This is not a get out of debt scheme or something like that. So let's say you need tires for your car and you go into a tire store and they say, well, I don't, you say to them, I don't have the money. Well, what you can do is apply for an in-store credit card. And if you're approved, wait, they put tires in your car and you drive away and you didn't pay them, right? So now, here's the difference is that you get a statement at the end of the month, which is true, and then you have an invoice that's outstanding that's not paid, and that's true too. So that's the difference is a company had taken their product, put it on your car, did a service for you, and they have an invoice. That's the difference. That is a debt instrument. That's the legal proof that you actually owe somebody money. So you have to pay those. Now, how can you tell if, let's say, Amazon or Walmart or some store is a true credit card or a phony one? Because all you do is look at the back. Look at the back of the card. If it says issued by Bank of America, Bank of London, Bank of India, it's a phony card. So the bank does not have an invoice. They did not do what a merchant would do. They would not give you services. They didn't provide goods to you. So they don't have an invoice. So no invoice, no debt.
Okay. Now, but then whenever you use that credit card to do a transaction, right? You, okay, the bank is making the payment on behalf of you and just loaning you the money for a period of 1 month or 45 days or whatever the period that is, right? That's the whole point of the credit card. And that's how the agreement is between me and my credit card issuing bank, right? And that's the statement that comes every month with the bill, which is called the bill of the card. Now, how are you saying? Let's just get into the nitty gritty. I don't know.
Right. So that's exactly what you said is correct. So is it possible, let me just ask you that, is that you, your audience, and including me, is it possible that we have been lied to, indoctrinated, and brainwashed?
Mhm.
Is it possible? Sure, anything's possible. Okay, so
Yeah.
a lie is a lie, but if it's told generational, then it becomes indoctrination. So if
Mhm.
your parents tell you you got to pay the credit card and their grandparents tell you you got to pay the credit card, well, for 60 years, people have been paying their credit card when it really wasn't a credit card.
Uh-huh.
And so the other one is when you don't question anything, now you're brainwashed. So all I'm asking you and your audience to do is to add one word is alleged. Here in
Mhm.
America, we see bank robbery in progress, and they always say alleged bank robber. So that's all I want you to do is say alleged credit card. That puts the burden upon the bank
Mhm.
to provide evidence that there is a debt or a loan. So you really can't have it both ways. Think about this. You go into a merchant long, long time ago and you said, hey, Charlie, I need a pound of butter and 5 pounds of flour and things like that. And they say, oh, yeah, when your crops come in, you'll pay me back. Absolutely. So you don't go into the general store and say, hey, can I borrow $10,000?
Mhm.
That this
Yeah.
doesn't work. It's two different things. There's banks that do loans, and there's merchants that do goods and services and credit. So
Credit
we
notes.
have
Yeah.
to be clear about that. So if you use the words credit card, things like that, you're using the liar, the criminal's language. You're going to lose the argument. So we have to start with the truth. And what is the truth? Is that this is what banks do? Is if they're going to make a loan to you, that's totally different than a credit card. So if we can establish right now that there is no credit card, that the bank did not do goods and services, they don't have an outstanding invoice, now we start with the argument, like you said, very eloquently said. I couldn't have said it better. You said exactly all the points. So, yes, then what you do is you go into the bank and you fill out loan documents. Remember that? So, you have to prove that you actually have an income because how are you going to pay the loan back?
Mhm.
So, if you go into court, the judge is going to say to the bank, you're loaning money to people who can't pay it back. So, that's predatory. So the bank definitely has to have some kind of show of effort to find out that you actually can pay this loan back. The other one is you have collateral. So you have the house, the car, or if you have a personal loan, maybe your yacht that you were going to put up in case you don't pay, then they have the legal right to take it away from you, sell it. Now, if they don't make as much money and they're short, that's their problem. But if they're long, let's say, and they make money, they have to get that money back to you. They can't keep the difference. All they have is what they take for the loan. You also have a credit report that shows your history, and a credit score determines your interest rate. But the last thing you do is you sign a promissory note. You sign a promise. You promise to pay it back. And that's the legal document they have to go into court and say, look, judge, he promised to pay it back. He didn't. So make a judgment for us. So that's when the judge says yes. But if we've been lied to, indoctrinated, and brainwashed, then that's the problem. So what we do is we have this alleged loan. So, but what banks do is they want you to be a customer, and that costs them money. We all agree to that. They have an advertising budget. Years ago, they would actually purchase toasters and wall clocks and have you come into the bank, and they would give that to you if you open an account. There
Mhm.
was one time in a newspaper, it said, come into our bank and deposit $25 and we'll match it in 90 days. Well, what did I do? I took my $25, put it into my account. I waited 91 days and I went to the bank, closed the account, and took out my 25 and the bank's $25. So I'm going to ask you a question. Was that robbery? Is that what I did? Did I steal from them?
No.
Was that immoral? What I did? No, it's they said here's the deal, so I did it, and that's what happened. So actually, in your show notes on link number 4 is a guy that says that on YouTube. He promotes doing that. Go into the bank, find a bank online, deposit the money, wait the certain period, and then withdraw. And he's made $361. He's thrilled about that. He's telling the world this is what you can how you can make some easy money.
Mhm.
Well, the same thing is with your $500 credit card. It's not truly a credit card because it was a gift. You didn't fill out any loan documents. You didn't promise to pay it back. So they got you to be a customer by sending you this $500 gift card. So if you use it correctly, you got a gift card disguised as a credit card, and there's the fraud. So what did you do with your gift card? Well, like anybody else, you should use it. It's a gift. So you went to a store and you bought a toilet, let's say, a golden throne, let's say. So you're walking out of the store with the toilet and they stop you at the door and they say, "Did you pay for that?" Now, you didn't pay for that, did you? But your card did. Who paid? The store is the bank. Ah, so where did the bank get the money from? From their advertising budget to get you to be a customer. So at the end of the month, you got a statement, like you said, and then like your free checking account or any account you have with the bank, every month you get a statement. But that's not a bill. You see, when my history is that when I had an accounting classes, my first job was an accountant. And so I had the CFO, which is a CPA. He came up to me and said, with a finger in my face, he said, "If you pay from a statement, I'm going to fire you." He explained that the owner could have worked a deal out and there is no debt. The check could have been already sent and it just crossed in the mail, or it really wasn't approved. So he said, "See right here, this invoice, and look there. See the department head has approved it. You only pay from approved invoices." So that's where I have that experience. So without that, the bank does not have a loan. So that's what you can do is, let me think here about that. So that's about the loan. So they did not loan you any money. So when you got your statement at the end of the month, you're a good person, a moral person. You thought there was a bill, and that's the fraud the bank is telling you is that this is a bill. It's not a bill at all. It just shows a statement of your gift card. So you did the right thing. You wrote a $500 check out from, let's say, your local bank to the Bank of India. Well, that was the first time the Bank of India had ever received your money, right? Think about it. You got the card in the mail. Maybe you didn't even apply. They say you're pre-approved. That's what they did here in America. They just throw these cards out to anybody, everybody, because it's advertising.
Mhm.
So you're right, did the right thing. You sent $500, but that's the first time, let's say, Bank of India ever counted your money and they put it into your account. That's a loan to the bank. See, the banks are only set up for loans. If you go into a bank with no money, you loan the money to you and you walk out with it. If you take money into a bank, you're actually loaning the bank money. So now when you spend it, it's a less obligation to the bank. But then you make a deposit, you fill it back up, and then you spend it. So every subsequent purchase on your so-called credit card has been with your own money. So you put the money into your checking account. It's a free checking account. They just don't give you checks. And the only way you access it is with your debit card,
Yeah.
also disguised as a credit card. So if you start off with the right words, it's a gift card in the beginning. And when I paid money to the bank, it turned into a loan and turned into a debit card. That's how I get my money out of my account. It's through my debit card. So you do not have a debt, is what I'm saying.
So, I mean, in India, it's a little different. The banks can't just send you a credit card to your home, like you mentioned in the USA, right? They can't just mail you a card saying that, yeah, this is a free card and you can keep it and then you can start using it as it is. Okay. Usually, either they offer it when you open an account with them, they'll give you a free card along with it as a complimentary service. And so that's how they call it, right? Here in India, at least is that they say that this is the bill. There is a service charge on that account, on that card itself. Okay, because then you have points, and then you have additional forex trans conversion charges, and then that charge is billed for, right? I mean, at least that part sounds legitimate, right? That yeah, you're doing a foreign currency transaction and then it has to be converted and then that is a service that the bank is providing, so you can at least pay for that, but just otherwise,
Oh yeah. You
just
say
otherwise.
You said it. You said it perfectly because they you said the words gave, and that's the important words. We always say they gave me a credit card, and when they give somebody something, it's called a gift. Now,
But the
when you
difference,
apply
okay,
for a,
okay, yeah,
go
sure.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I
what
was
I
just
was
going to
saying
add
is
on
that
there.
I'm so sorry. Um, so what happens here is you have to apply for a credit card. You don't get a credit card off the bat. You will surely get a call saying that, yeah, we are here to offer you a credit card. You can just give us your details. We run through your credit report. And then if you're eligible, you will get this credit card. It will just be free of cost, no charges, just pay the bill. Just whatever money you owe, and that's about it. But that's how things are. Probably I might have to look at what the agreement is, because there are terms and conditions, as you mentioned, on every card that is there. Whenever I buy a card, or whenever a card is offered to me and I choose to take it from the bank, I should be going through the terms and conditions. And somewhere in between, there could be a clause that uh, might just be in my favor.
Yep, you're absolutely 100% correct when you start saying those things. But again, you're using the language of the criminal, so you're not going to have an argument against them.
Oh.
So if we start with the truth, is that you said they gave you the card, you applied. That's the proper word. So if you look up apply, that means to request. It's not a promissory note.
Mhm.
Yes, that's true. They said if you use the card, you're bound to our terms and conditions. But here in America, the Supreme Court has ruled over and over again that fraud
Oh,
undoes
okay.
all contracts.
Mhm.
And I am sure it happens also in India because the courts can't be set up to handle criminals that come in and to victimize their victim continuously. Hey, they signed a contract, but it's illegal contract. You're doing drugs. No, I want you, judge, to force this guy to pay me for the drugs I sold him, and he
Yeah.
didn't pay me back. No, the court's not set up for that. So that's going to be happening in India too. So that's the thing, is that you applied. Yes, you did, but that's only a request. You didn't do what the banking regulations require you to do, and that is to sign a promissory note. And that's again in your show notes for the central bank is going to require you to sign a promissory note. You promise to pay it back, and then they got you. So this does not work for a home loan. It doesn't work for a car loan or a personal loan or things like that, where you have actually filled out loan documents and signed your name. This is not that at all. This is the fraud to get you to be a customer. Now, what's the big deal about being a customer? I typed this up, and you can probably do it there for India too. What's the average cost that a person pays in fees for a credit card? And here in America, it's $23.04. So if a bank has a million card holders, they're bringing in $23 million a month. And in my calculations, it's about one fourth of the bank's profits. And that's why they do this crime, to get you to pay $23.04 on average per month for a free checking account. That's the whole point of this. You open up an account with them, and that's a free checking because you're not paying. So it's got to be free. Checking, you don't really get checks, but you use your debit card. So if we use the terms properly from an accounting point of view,
Mhm.
I'm not talking some crazy sovereignty or bills of exchange or something weird like that. This is just sound banking, sound business principles, that you got to have an invoice. If you don't have an invoice, you don't have a debt. If you
Right.
don't have a promise to pay them back. So let me go this direction here. Let's go the devil's advocate. Let's go. Well, wait a second. What's going on here? Okay. Let's say you get a share of stock. You buy one share of stock of the Bank of India, let's say. Okay. You are now a shareholder. You're now in the profit. It's your bank. You consider it my bank now. Now, would you want your bank to loan out your money to people who can't pay it back? That'd be crazy. Would you want your money to be loaned out to people who don't even promise to pay it back? That'd
Mhm.
be ludicrous. And that's the whole point, is they don't ask you to pay it back. They tricked you into thinking you got a loan. So you're making a payment to the bank. So if you use payment, that's the criminal language. You're going to lose every single time. But it's the what has happened is that you have deposited money. And most people don't know that. And that's why no people don't do this. There's not in America $1.3 trillion of credit card debt. It's what the bank wants you to deposit, and because you didn't deposit money into your free checking account, they're going to charge you interest on that. They charge you late fees, annual fees. One podcaster told me he pays $800 a year just to have his credit card. That's crazy to
Insane.
pay that for the, yeah. But then you can say, hey, Tommy, do you have a credit card? Well, yes, I do. Well, wait a second. Well, what's going on here? Well, I was off grid, off on a farm for many, many years. So I had no credit score. I had no credit report. It was just blank. So I've been off grid for so long. So knowing I was coming to the Philippines, I had to buy an airline ticket with a credit card.
Yeah.
And the advantage of that over a debit card is that you can get fraud. It's very easier to undo it. So the other one is I needed to rent a car, and you have to have a credit card. Debit cards don't work because you could have nothing in your account. They know you're going to have $500 or whatever it is for your credit card. So I applied and I got a credit. They gave me a credit card.
Mhm.
So it was from Capital One.
Mhm.
That's one of the banks I sued for $35,000 of bank issued alleged credit card debt. So you
Mhm.
have to say the right words. So, so yes, you can close your account. That's what all I'm asking you to do is write a letter to the bank asking to close your free checking account associated with that card. And there you go. It's gone.
Now, if what's the kind of response you're getting when you go out and talk to people about this on social media, right? Especially on social media like TikTok or somewhere else, Instagram. What kind of comments do you get? Are people ready to play the devil's advocate, or are they just playing along? How's it?
Oh, it's very entertaining. I get both sides. I get you're a complete idiot, you're a scammer. And the funny thing about that is I ask you to first of all run this by your CPA, which I find to be extremely honest people. My dad was extremely straight-laced and very conservative, would never have done this at all. But he's going to say he's right, because there is no invoice and there is no loan and stuff like that. So on the one side, I get the people who think I'm scamming people, and I'll even want to talk to your attorney after you have your CPA tell you I'm right, because attorneys don't know accounting. They know law, but they have been brainwashed. They're all in the system together. So if I'm revealing a worldwide fraud, of course, I'm going to get the arrow shot at me from both directions. So I get the trolls and I love them. I laugh and I enjoy their comments and stuff. On the other side, just total disbelief. They just have never heard this before. Again, it's their brainwashing. So if I get them to say allege, now we're on the right path. If I can have some credible family member or their CPA verify what I'm saying is, and I won't ever help anybody unless they have this third party verification because there's no point. Then I'm trying to scam them, but I'm not. I find them money. That's the funny thing is that for most of my clients, I find money for them. So they actually come out of this ahead of this game in one sense, and they have then it's off the credit report. So that's all I'm asking the bank to do is do a click. So what I'm saying is write a letter to the bank. Yeah, that's kind of weak in one sense, but if you want it stronger, have your CPA write a letter to the bank saying, first of all, there's no invoice. If you have one, send it and I'll pay it. Two, you don't have a loan because federal banking regulations require you to have a promissory note. Since there's no promissory note, there's no promise to pay back. To
Mhm.
even make it stronger, have your attorney send a letter to the bank saying that all contracts by fraud are undone. So my client does not have a contractual agreement with you, bank. All they have, according to the CPA, is a free checking account. Again, they can't say what's going on. They have an expert witness. So your expert witness is your CPA or anybody who's had one class of accounting would know what I'm saying is absolutely correct. Now, if you want to make it a little stronger, here's what you do. You fill out a civil lawsuit, and I know you can do that without filing it with the court. You just fill the paperwork out as if you did it. And here you go into all the discovery. The bank knows what's going on. But here's the thing they have it there, they have it here. It's called an injunction. Now, a lot of people have heard about this lately because anything that Trump does, someone runs into court with an injunction and stops everything. Well, you're going to notify the bank that if they take a bite out of you and sue you, they're going to be facing a lawsuit that's going to a brick of paper. It's going to run them 30, 40 hours of attorney at $500. They're already looking at $20,000 into this. And then you're going to file an injunction immediately because now what you said is, Judge, these people are harassing me. And so I want resolution. So the bank has to send to the judge a certified copy of the invoice, outstanding unpaid, also a certified copy of the promissory note, which they don't have, and you're asking for an affidavit of debt, someone inside the bank to swear out that they owe money on the penalty of perjury. So they're going to have to go to jail or face a fine if they're lying. And that, where are they going to find a bank employee that says, I have the invoice, I have a promissory note, and I'm willing to put my neck on the line for the bank? Are you telling me? Yeah. So once the bank sees that you know that there is a fraud going on and you're going to bring that to the court, all that you do is they do a click, it's off your credit report. That's all you're asking to do is a click.
Thank you so much, Tommy. Thank you for joining me in on this episode. It was just fun having this conversation, looking at it from the other side and being the devil's advocate here. Opens up your mind to different things, right? So, yeah, thanks for joining in. So, where can people get in touch with you if they're interested?
Oh yes, it's very simple. Tommy A. Kilpatrick on Facebook, and it'll be in your show notes. And there's an email there too. So I have a free 15-minute consultation. And as I saw from Amazon, my book sells for 6,000 rupees. So if you contact me with that request and we talk, I'll send you the book for free. So I really want you to get out of debt. No, I want you to close your checking account, but you better take the money out first. And that's the secret. If you don't do that, the bank is going to confiscate your money.
Yeah.
So withdraw the money now, and now then send a letter, and you'll be ahead of the game, because that's what it was. Just like I asked you, was it immoral for me to take the money from the bank from that $25 deposit, and they matched it? It's the same thing. Take your money out of your account and then close the account.
Mhm.
So you'll be ahead. You'll be fine.
All right. Thank you so much for joining in on this episode of Your Lab Central. To the audience, if you like the conversation, do leave a like. The comment section is always open for your views, perspectives, and if you want to add to the conversation or if you have any questions, it's always open. And don't forget to subscribe before closing the window. Thank you so much for joining in. Tommy, once again, thanks for joining me in for this episode. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Had a great time.